All right, there we go. It is October 5th. We are coming up on Halloween, and another thing we're coming up on, any guesses?
It better be the release of your leads program.
Well, that goes without saying, but we have a Black Friday upon us.
Yep.
That is my special thing I wanted to talk about today. We could talk about the lead thing too. But one thing I want you guys to really, I think a lot of people missed it last year. We talked about it a little bit too late, and I don't think I gave everybody enough runway to really get going. But stuff like Black Friday, the population is preconditioned to buy stuff on that day. That is something to take advantage of. It doesn't really matter what you're selling. They're all conditioned. Everybody in the well, at least in the US, I don't know about other countries. I'm assuming there's something similar. But Black Friday is something that you guys really shouldn't let slip by again. And I know I didn't take much advantage of it last year. It just came and it went, and I was like, shit. And I get to the year-end thing and I'm doing it. I'm just like going, God, what the hell did I do this year other than play? And that was okay. I guess I needed it. But this year, I'm coming back, getting a little more aggressive, and my numbers are definitely looking better because of it. So I wanted to put that out there. The Black Friday, I'm going to take advantage of it this year. I have a lot of stuff, and Richard was alluding to the rollout of the new leads program. That will definitely have a Black Friday component to it for those that haven't bought it by then. But another thing too, before we get into the whole Black Friday thing, I came on a couple minutes early and I heard the chatter about the leads thing, and here's something that you guys have to really be aware of. No matter what you're selling, it's very specific to the leads program though. But you have to understand that you need to sell to a person what they actually need. There is a ton of businesses that really don't need leads. There's probably more businesses out there that don't need leads. And you guys probably think I'm crazy from that statement, right? How could they not need leads? Well, I'm saying that based on their position or on their place in the world, their place in business. Most businesses are not ready to take in leads because they don't know how to convert them. And you're talking about the T in ACT. If you move into the T before you've done the other two pieces, all it's going to be is a waste of money, and it's going to just be really expensive. And this is no different from any business owner. Any business owner that spends money to advertise or to buy leads or to do SEO or pay-per-click or Facebook ads or YouTube ads or anything at all to do with traffic, before they know what to do with the traffic, I guarantee you they're going to be frustrated. And if you're the one selling them whatever it was, they're going to be pissed at you. And it's just a shitty place to be in business, is to not have people like you for what you do. So be careful who you sell stuff to. Sell stuff to the people that are ready for it, need it, and can take advantage of it, and will be grateful for it. Now, as far as like this goes back to my beginning on the internet. When I started into this, I was doing web development for companies that needed it. They were very grateful to get it. I was doing SEO services for companies that needed it. These were companies that had existed in the real world for a long time. They knew how to sell their stuff. All they needed was a new channel, and here I show up with a brand new shiny ball, and they were ready to play. And I never even thought about marketing back then. All I thought was drive traffic. Hey, I'm really good at this. They're really good at converting it. I'm just throwing all these people over the fence, and they're going, yes, yes, yes. And then, later on, I started building training programs and started moving more on this on the little guy side of the fence, because I really wanted to help the little guys and level the playing field and give them the opportunities and the tools and the things that the big guys had access to. But what I realized was, holy shit, there's a very big difference swimming in this side of the tank than the other side of the tank. So what I was doing over there was very valuable because they knew what to do with it. Now over here, you know, I started taking on some smaller SEO clients, and they didn't like me because they were spending a bunch of money and nothing was coming in. And I'm like, how's this possible? I know what I'm doing and I do it well. How is it possible that it's not working? And it was very clear when I started looking at their systems. I'm like, oh, okay. It was a big epiphany. It's like, these people don't know what to do with this. They're not ready for it. I don't want to sell stuff to people that aren't ready for it, because it creates a come to Jesus meeting. And I don't like those. You know, I'm very non-confrontational, and that's not the way I want to go through life. So that's where I pulled back. You know, I stopped selling SEO services to small businesses. And that's when I created the ACT program. I'm like, let me build you a bridge to get you where you need to be, and then maybe we can talk about the traffic. So the leads program is nothing different. It's no different than SEO. If you sell the wrong service to the wrong company, and I think that's where a lot of people that get into services, the service side of the internet is phenomenal. There's hundreds of millions of dollars made almost on a daily basis supplying services to businesses. It's massive. But again, if you're supplying them the wrong services, it'll be short-lived and it'll be no way to go through life, guaranteed. So that's one of the reasons why I'm looking to partner up with a couple of companies that actually do know how to deal with these leads. So for those that, you know what to do with them, they can buy the software and they can off to the races. They can buy as many leads as they want and get them at a cost that will be very profitable for them. But for the others, and I know there's a lot of you here that are dying to get leads, and I'm sure you're not ready for them. But if I could connect you with somebody that had a company that could take those leads and do a cold email campaign, a nurture, a warm up, you know, and either feed them into your sales system if you have one yet, or create one for you and then turn that into sales. Like some of you guys have Kartra, some of you have, you know, I'm sure some of you have Go High Level or Kajabi or something else, but those are all just wrappers to wrap and deliver your message. You know, the funnel is your message. The funnel is not the software. It's not the Kartra or the Go High Level or any of that. That's just a delivery mechanism. Whichever one you happen to like, it's fine. You know, if it does what you need it to do, that's great. But where you need to really focus, or you need to hire somebody to focus in your business, is on your messaging. That is your sales funnel. That is your sales process. And if you don't figure that out, you're going to struggle. There's no way around it. If you are not figuring out who you're selling to and why they want what you've got, what it's going to do for them, and all that stuff, you are not going to be able to convey that messaging. Now, this comes back to our Black Friday. If you don't get that, if you haven't figured that out, how in the hell are you going to sell something on Black Friday? Right? Black Friday is going to come and go, and you go, damn it, I missed the boat again. So it is really important, you know, and I know it's hard to go backwards, but sometimes you got to take a few steps back to move forward. And I know a lot of you guys are caught up in the creation process. Maybe even you're trying to hop the fence and get into traffic, but you've got to go back to basics. If you're buying traffic or you're sending your stuff out and it's not selling, there's a problem. And here's what I want you to be careful of. A lot of you are in mastermind groups, and you take your idea and your product into the mastermind group. You go, hey guys, what do you think? And they all pat you on the back and say it's fabulous and it's phenomenal, but they're not going to buy it. They're not your customers, and the feedback is worthless. You'll never, ever in your entire life see an ad agency go out to a group of their peers and ask them, oh, so what do you think of this? That's not what they do. They get a group of buyers. They get a group of the customers, and they go out to them and they say, what do you think? And then the next question is, would you like to move forward with that? Right? And if nobody moves forward with that, they're not on the pin. They have not conveyed the value. And they go back to the drawing board. And then they'll bring another group of those same buyers in, and they'll do it again and again and again until they figure out, okay, here's what makes these people tick. Here's what blows their dress up. Here's what floats their boat. Call it whatever you want, but it's their buying triggers. Here's what they need to hear to seduce their heart and convince their head. That's what you need to focus on. You need to figure out who your market is, who your ideal customer is, and what do they need to hear? What do you need to say to them? And that's going to be your messaging. You know, I can say this 10 ways to Sunday, but it's never going to change. How you do it, you could do it any number of ways. If you know your customer, some people, you are the avatar. There's a lot of you that have created a product that solved your own problem. And now you're going to take that out to the market and help other people with it. So the thing you have to differentiate here is when you're going inside your own head to figure out, okay, what made me do this? What made me want this? What's it do for me? All that stuff. You've got to go back in time to where you were before you had the solution. You need to answer the questions from that point in your life, not where you are today. You're a very different person today. You are an expert today. You probably know too much, right? Don't take people into the weeds. Go back to where you were when you were confused and frustrated and desperate possibly and needed a solution. You know, if you had somebody come to you that was speaking over your head and taking you in the weeds back then, you would have just been more frustrated, more in the weeds, less confident, and you wouldn't have bought anything. Right? That's just the way it is. You don't want to complicate things. You want to shine a light on what they want, why they want it, and connect the dots for what you have is going to get them that. It really is just that plain and simple. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's people that have different techniques of this. Some of them, like Cialdini, he's a classic one. This guy is a masterful copywriter, NLP guy, whatever you want to call him. He's a sales guy. He knows how to sell shit. And what he'll do is he even calls it this. He says, first thing, I take them into the pit of hell. And I show them what's going to happen if they don't make a change. And he walks them down the road all the way to the end. He's like, you know, if you don't solve this problem, if you don't fix this thing, whatever it is in your life, he said, ultimately, it's going to ruin you. It's going to take you to the point where you lose your job. And then the next thing, you lose your wife. Then the next thing, your kids hate you. Then the next thing, you got no place to live. You're living under a bridge and you got no food, and then you're dead. So you're dead, living under a bridge, hungry. It's not a good way to end your life, right? And he walks them down that pit of hell. He literally calls it. He takes them to the bottom of the pit of hell. And all of a sudden now they're like, whoa, shit. I really need to solve this problem because I don't want that. That's one way to go. And he's really good at that one. The one thing he will tell you is he makes you promise if he shows you how to take someone in the pit of hell that you won't leave them there. He says that's just not the right thing to do. Once you get them into the pit of hell, you have to lead them out. You have to give them hope that there is a ladder to get the hell out of here. And that is where he introduces his product. And then he walks you backwards. He just takes you backwards through that scenario. It's like fast forwarding through a movie and then reversing and going back to the beginning and then bringing it back forward again with a different outcome. That's what he's doing. He says, now, okay, if you do this and you solve the problem, you won't lose your job. You'll get a better job. Your wife will love you more. You know, your kids will adore you. They'll look up to you. You know, you'll be driving a better car. You'll be taking them on vacation. And he takes you the other direction. He takes you to heaven, right? And the bridge to get there is the one that he's offering you. So, you know, that's one person's way to do this. You know, that's really not my style, but it's a style. There's 1,000 different styles of selling out there. You need to figure out, you know, which one resonates with you. And you know, most of all, you got to figure out who you're selling to. You got to get inside their head. Now, think about it. If you go into Black Friday knowing what they want, knowing why they want it, and you can position yourself and them getting that outcome, that's just a good deal for everyone all the way around. You get to sell product, they get to get their desired outcome, and everybody's happy at the end of that process. And the other thing, at the end of that process, they will want more. It's like, you know what happens when you give the monster a cookie, right? He wants some milk. This leads to additional sales. This is your upsell. As soon as they start devouring the cookie, it's going to make them want more. You can always sell more. But if you don't sell the cookie, the milk's just going to spoil sitting in your shelves. So Black Friday is the perfect place to dump all the milk out of your refrigerator. Get it out, get it consumed, make some happy people, and then do it again and again and again. Black Friday is just some bogus thing that somebody made up to sell a bunch of shit. So they're no better than you are. There's 365 days in the year. There's you can come up with 365 days that someone should buy your stuff, right? It could be anything. I've seen so many different sales. There's almost a holiday that's been built for every day of the year. Like, for instance, yesterday, do you guys know what yesterday was? It was National Taco Day. I mean, you'd think they'd put that on Taco Tuesday, right? No, it was a Wednesday. National Taco Day. Guess what I was seeing ads from? Taco Bell, Del Taco, every taco joint in Orange County was sending out National Taco Day things. And guess what? They probably sold a shitload of tacos yesterday. Why? On a Wednesday. Just why? Because it was National Taco Day. Right? You can pick whatever it is that you're selling and create a national day for it. And who's to say it's not true? Right? I mean, who the fuck came up with Taco Day? Right? That didn't come, the government didn't say, let's declare Taco Day, right? It's a thing. It went through the courts. It got decided. It was ruled upon. Right? You are the kingdom of your own domain. You can declare any day you want. You know, I can declare National AI Lead Day. It's time for you to get your lead on. So, you know, this stuff is about creativity. You know, if you're not creative in your business, you need to bring somebody in that is. You know, there's a lot of people that they are not business people. they're inventors. They create really good stuff, but they can't sell it to save their life. So if that's you, if you fall into that umbrella, there's no shame in that. It just means you need to bring in some help. You know, I know several people that were absolutely brilliant designers and inventors. And the problem with them, I'll tell you right now, the problem with them was their ego. They didn't want anyone else messing in their sandbox, and they didn't know how to sell their stuff. But you couldn't tell them that. And every one of them that I know at this point, and I've known these kind of people my entire life, but at this point, they're all old and broke or dead and broke. None of them were successful, even though they created some of the most bitchin' stuff you could even imagine. But they weren't able to sell it. So it doesn't matter how good or how bad, whatever it is that you've got. The thing that matters is if you know how to convey its value and sell it. So there is a ton of people out there that are marketers that know marketing, and they're really good at it. And they're selling absolute crap. And, you know, I think that should be somewhat criminal, to tell you the truth. But that's the only difference between them and you, is they're just better at selling their stuff. I'm sure you guys all have better stuff than they do. It's just a matter of the messaging. If you're not willing to do that work, then I'm not sure what to tell you. I don't think things are going to get any better if you don't figure that out. You know, the cool thing about this, in the day and age that we live in right now, is it's easier than it's ever been. And it's probably as easy as it's ever going to get right now, because of the tools available to us, because of the technology. Literally, the time that we are living in right now, it's fascinating. The things that are at our fingertips, they were not available to the last generation. Like, the stuff that I have access to now is just mind-boggling. I can go in, I can use something like ChatGPT or Poe or any of these AI content development tools. And the access to information that's right at your fingertips is absolutely astonishing. For us not to leverage that is foolish. You know, you don't need to be a big ad agency. You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go and hire an ad agency anymore. And even the person that I just talked about, bringing someone into your business that's creative, maybe more creative than you, I guarantee you that chat window is more creative than you are. And it's sitting there right in front of you. You don't even have to pay for it. You don't have to pay the $20 for it. The free version, I guarantee, will run circles around your creativity. If you need a partner, if you need somebody in the middle of the night to brainstorm with, just pull it up and let it rip. You know, do this stuff, advance your business, figure out, ask it, what should I do? Tell it all the circumstances. Say, if, you know, and prompt it with who you want it to be. Because right now it's just a chat window. If you tell it who you want it to be, it will give you different answers. So tell it you need a really spectacular marketer. You need it to be that for you. Now all of a sudden you framed it. It's not going to go out to the whole universe and just use all the volume of content that's out there. It's going to go to the top marketers, the ones that are highly respected, and it's going to take from them to help you. Because tell it, you don't just want every useless opinion on the planet. You want to know how the best marketers in the world would do this for you. So frame it with exactly who you need it to be, and then start asking it your questions, and go deep. Just don't worry about how much stuff you throw into the chat window. Just throw up on it. Let it figure it out what you want. The more you give it, the better information it's going to give you. And tell it, go, hey, I'm really concerned. Last year, I didn't sell shit on Black Friday and I missed a huge opportunity. Here's what I've got. Here's the free things I could give away. Here's the price. Here's the special. I could offer this at a discount price. What would you do? If you were me, what would you do? What would you recommend? And see what it says. Might be really interesting. And then if it gives you whatever it gives you, don't just take that as the end. Take that as just the beginning. Start asking it more questions. Start asking it, oh, who should I bring this to? What platform should I go on? How should I, if I don't have a budget to advertise, how can I reach this market? How can I get this message in as many of the right people as possible? And what's the right thing to say to them when I bring it to them?
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
Hey, what I'm taking from this, and I came on a few minutes late, is you're basically telling us that rather than use it as an actual chat vehicle, create a relationship with this as if it was whoever we wanted it to be, whether it was a marketing ad agency or whether it was something else, but actually create a relationship by giving it detailed information about their position. And then we ask for their expertise.
That's absolutely right.
Got it. Okay.
As who you want it to be. Otherwise, you're just talking with a chat window that's got every piece of information on earth, which you don't want. That's garbage. If you don't want like every opinion out there. You only want the opinions that matter. And I don't know if you were on the call earlier, but I was talking about like a very bad practice is to go into a mastermind group of people that are not your ideal customer and ask them what they think, because they're all going to give you bogus information. They're all going to pat you on the back. They're going to say, oh, that's awesome. You're going to do great. But then turn around and ask them if they want to buy it. You won't sell anything. And that's not who you want your information from.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when you're talking to the chat window, that's not what you want. You don't want just random opinion. You want to say, I need you to be the top ad copy guy in the world. I need you to be like the one from the biggest ad agencies, in New York City. You're $1 million copywriter. What copy would you write to sell my stuff? Here's what I've got. Tell it all about it. Here's why I developed it. Here's who I developed it for. This is why I think it's better. How do I get this message across? How do I get somebody to instantly fall in love with this? What do I need to say? What's the first words they need to hear? And then it will give you spectacular content back. And it's just like you hired that guy. You'll get that level of information back. I don't know if you're on, I think it was last week, I was going through some of the prompting that is in that massive prompt that I've been playing with. And it's one prompt that will do almost all the work in ACT.
I was on that. I did see that, and you got some more work you're going to do with it.
Yeah. So it's like you've got to give it that level of information to, if you want it to kick out just spectacular work, you have to go that deep.
Got it. Okay.
So it's really, really cool too. If you want to know almost anything about your business or how to sell your product or if they purchase my product, ask it this, once they purchase my product and they get the outcome, what's the next likely thing that they would purchase? And then if you're not capable of building that, or you don't want to, you'd like me, you're just lazy, figure out who does make that and go cut a deal with them. Say, hey, I have an audience that is, I'm going to prep them to be just hungry to purchase your offer. You know, would you like me to step in as an affiliate role and push those people over to you when they're ready? What, you know, what's that worth to you? You might be able to get them to cut you a bigger commission level than they normally would, because you're literally bringing them the absolute perfect ideal customer. Most affiliates aren't like that. Like you'll figure this out when you start running your own affiliate program. You might have 100 affiliates sign up, and you might have one that knows how to sell your stuff, and he's going to sell a lot of it. And if you could just find another one of him, you would probably offer him a better deal, right? Than dealing with 99 other people that just going to ask you a bunch of questions and never sell anything. You would probably be willing to give that guy that's going to move a lot of your product and line your pockets a better deal to sell your stuff. So that gives you negotiating power when you show up on someone's doorstep and you're offering to be their affiliate, and you're going to line their pockets, and you're not going to be a pain in their ass. You're not there to ask questions. You're there to bring customers. And what's that worth to them? That's a negotiating point on, you know, on being an affiliate. Like they call them super affiliates. Super affiliates make more money in commissions than regular affiliates, because the people that have products are willing to pay the super affiliates more. They reward them higher at a higher level. Like the normal person might get, you know, 30%. The super affiliate might get 50%, 60%. They command that kind of payout. And it's totally worth it, because if the guy takes regular affiliates instead of one super affiliate, he might spend umpteen hours trying to corral and trying to train and teach and get all these regular affiliates to do what he needs done. And he's going to spend all that time, and then they're not going to do it very effectively, and he hasn't made much money. Whereas the super affiliate shows up at his door and says, hey, I got this. I'm going to send you $100,000 in the next 30 days. I got this. You can just go back to bed. Right? Wouldn't you give that guy a little bit more cut of the pie?
Absolutely.
So that's, you know, that's what ChatGPT can tell you. You know, who is the next likely thing or next likely product? What's the next likely product that someone would buy after I give them their desired outcome? Because as you know, that all products are sold on a timeline, right? They go from wanting or needing something to having it. You know, if they don't get it, then they're still on the timeline of wanting or needing it. Until they actually get it, that timeline is not fulfilled. And as soon as we fulfill a timeline, that timeline expires and a new one is created. Whenever we get what we want, we never stay still. The only time we stay still is when we die. So, I mean, how many times has that happened to you? You got what you wanted or what you thought you wanted, and then how long did that last before you wanted something different?
Yeah, not long at all.
You know, I mean, this goes on every moment of every day, every waking moment. You're wanting something. You know, it could be as simple as, hey, you know, I want some water. And then you get it. And then you're not just satisfied. The day's not over. You're going to want something else.
Yeah.
You know, and these wants can be infinite. There's no end to the wants and needs of people. And what does that tell you? There's no end to the amount of they'll spend to get it.
Selling. Yep.
So
Hey, John, quick Kartra question, if I could, and I don't have my voice back all the way, but bear
no
with me.
worries.
Just a moment ago, I say a moment ago, few days ago, I noticed Kartra did something,
You're cutting out.
and
We're
if you had discard this, and it was like, okay, can you hear me now?
yeah, that's a little better.
The Kartra package, the starter package, all of a sudden it moved up to another level. But I don't remember asking it. It was almost like they gifted it. Do you know what that's about?
Yes, absolutely. They are changing their package levels. So everybody that's been with them got the bump on the upgrade, and they're now offering it as a professional level service. So
Okay.
they've got I think they've got 3 new levels, and they're really changing things up. They're adding a lot of really new stuff, and it's all happening this week. So one of the things, if there's any of you that have not pulled the trigger on Kartra yet, they're not doing this for people that are already on the platform, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But if you're new and you haven't opened a Kartra account yet, they're doing a 40% off deal for an entire year. So whether you buy an annual package or whether you buy the monthly package, they're discounting at 40% for the first year. And they've got, like I said, they've got the different package levels. They've added a bunch of new stuff into Kartra. They've added webinar features. They've added a lot of analytics stuff, which is really, really cool. They added if you guys have ever seen Guru, the software product called Guru, what it is, it's a funnel mapping software. So you can predict, you can kind of play and say, okay, if I map a funnel out this way, if I put traffic over here and I get these conversion ratios throughout the funnel, this is how much profit I'll make. And then you can create the funnel and you can test it. And then you can go back and you can plug the actual real values in. Like say my lead magnet converted at 10%. And my funnel offer converted at X%, and my upsell converted at X%. And then you plug your real numbers in, and then it's got your real profit coming out the end. You've got the cost of people coming in the front of the funnel. You've got the profit coming out the back. And then you can look at it from a real business perspective. And you say, okay, this is profitable. Now I need to drive more people into the front. Or this could be a lot more profitable if I fix this piece of the funnel that's not performing well. Like if I had a better lead magnet, I wouldn't need so much traffic to get the same profit on the other end, right? Or with the same traffic, I could get more profit on the other end. So it's all about reducing costs and increasing profit. Knowing your numbers is really important. If you don't know your numbers, you're just flying by night. And and quite honestly, I've done that most of my life because all the shit that I do is highly profitable and I don't really care. I'm not a bean counter. I can look at something and know, hey, if I'm not making just a shit ton of money out of this, I ain't doing it again. Right? I don't need to get down to the bean counting level. But I know a lot of people are. A lot of people are very anal. They need to see stuff before they can do it. I'm not one of them. I can jump in the fire, and if I get burnt, I step out real quickly. Right? I do that very regularly. So, but if you are analytical and this makes sense to you, they've got it all built into Kartra now. And the cool thing is, it's not a simulation. It's your actual funnel, and you can see the numbers in real time. Like you can see all your conversion numbers. It'll track where the traffic's coming from. It'll track how much you're spending on it. It'll give you everything. It's freaking phenomenal. There's other programs out there that if you were to buy an analytics program that does what Kartra just put in as a gift, you would be paying anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a month just for that one feature. That's what they cost. I've never seen an analytics program that integrated and tracked all of your stuff for less than $400 a month. And now it's built right into Kartra. And it doesn't matter how you build your funnels in Kartra, you can just go in and activate it if you want it. You don't have to. Like that kind of level of going into stuff make me tear my eyes out. I am never turning that button on. I don't need it, don't want it, but a lot of people do, and it's a really cool thing to have built in there. So, Chris, you got your hand up there. Sounds like a Kartra question.
I do. Hey, Randy, good afternoon.
Hey there.
If you're nervous about that, you can just go into your Kartra account, just log in, go up in the right corner by your picture, click on the menu to billing, and it'll show you that you are in fact upgraded to professional. But more importantly, it'll show you next billing, and it'll show you the next date and the amount, and it's $99. So that'll bring, so there's no surprises there. If you want to know, how much, it's like, wait a minute, this is a gimmick, and next month am I going to get charged up to yin yang? You'll be able to look at it in billing, and they'll tell you what's going on.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing this like to bait and switch anybody. They're just doing, they're providing more value.
How long do you think that price? Because I received the same thing, John. It was also people that were on even a trial got upgraded. And so I see that the next time they bill me, even though I'm professional level, that it'll only be $99. How long do you think that will last?
Yeah, I can find out on that. In fact, they just did a webinar on that, and I wasn't really actively listening. I was in the background just kind of letting it run, but I know they covered that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of they're in a lot of transition of not only people behind the scenes, they let go a lot of their staff. A lot of their people had been with them for a long time. They let go of, and just recently, like as of the last week. So it's like they're doing some big monumental shift moving forward. And they're really, really stepping up their game on a lot of stuff.
John, the only thing I saw them step up is they want to charge me, instead of $99 a month, they're saying it's now $109 a month, and no bonuses, no upsells, no nothing. So I guess I need to go back in there and see what's going on, because all they're doing is raising the price on me, and I don't see any of this other stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah, they had raised the prices here, I think, I don't know, a couple months ago, I think. And it was just kind of out of the blue. They did send an email out about it, and they said there was going to be more features coming, and then now the features are being released now.
Well, so, I thought they were being clairvoyant and telling me my business was going to explode. So they just moved me up.
See, Randy, if anyone ever says you're not an optimist, they're lying.
That's what today's call's about, to make your business explode.
That's right. So it's happening one way or another.
Hey, Richard, I have a question for you. How far along are you in Kartra as far as your builds and your pages and the use of it and all that stuff?
I looked at your stuff and it looks very, very helpful, but I paid a guy, a few bucks to put together the Kartra, because while John's masterminded it and all that sort of stuff beforehand, up to now, it's always been about the most anti-intuitive platform I've ever seen. I've encountered dozens and dozens of people that hate Kartra because it's not intuitive. It's not easy to figure out.
Okay. The reason I asked,
your stuff that you've done looks like that might be the case, but I just I got other fish that I'm frying, and I haven't bothered to go back in and learn about it. But if you actually,
Yeah. The
I want to
reason,
go back and see what you finished to see
Yeah.
if that makes it any easier.
right. The reason I ask, and John, you might, I went through a process with them. You might think about this or give your input on this. If someone wanted to get, if someone had an existing account and they wanted to get in on the upgrade and all the benefits for that, it's available for people that are on a trial. Like I'm still on a trial and I got upgraded. But as John pointed out, for people with existing, they're not giving it to. So here's a solution. If you're not too far along, one can open a new account with a new email. I actually went through this because here's the thing. I opened one a while ago and it had the email address that I wanted. Like I wanted that and the username. And I said, how can I get it? And they said, the only way you can do it is this. Open a new account. Okay, so I have two at the same time, open a new trial, and then I can go into my old account, change the email that I have, change the email, and give it something else. This way on the new, I'll get to the point, on the new account, which is a trial, I can now use that email address. And he said, but here's the point. He says, but I said, yeah, but I don't want to start all over again. He goes, oh, that's no problem. All you got to do on your old account is assemble a campaign, which means all your pages and all your stuff, and export it out into the new trial. So that's a way to migrate all the stuff into a new account. And in the end, I got the email address I wanted and all my pages came over. And then I closed down the existing account. So what I'm getting at in a long way of saying is that if you have an existing account, but you're not too far along and you want to get in on this upgraded level at the same price, you can just start a new trial with John. You know, he has 3-month, trial, 90-day trial for only $99 is what they're offering. And open a new account. And guess what? And again, I'm not guaranteeing this, but as I think they said in that webinar, this applies even to people on a trial, you might get the new benefits at the lower price. And if you've not invested too much in the past, it'd be easy for you. So there, what do you think about that, John?
Yeah. You could definitely do that. That's really cool that you can reassign the email like that.
Yeah. You just have to drop it. You have to, drop it, then assign it. But then they said, and then there's actually a page that sent me a page. When I asked them about this with technical support, they said, oh yeah. And they're the ones that told me, start a new one, go on a trial, and then establish a campaign. Here's how to do that. And just send it over to yourself. Boom.
Yeah.
And everything's back up. So anyway,
Okay, how do you do the campaign is the missing piece there, because without that, you're back to not having to try and figure out Kartra again. And
yeah, the campaigns are really simple. You just go into the campaign section and you start a new campaign and you name it something. And then you just click and select off all the assets that go with the campaign. And then that bundles it up. And then you can export that whole campaign out to another Kartra account. So
yeah, you can
simple.
export everything out. Who was it? There was somebody who was in the group with us, John, and she worked with me for a while. I can't remember her name. And I transferred all of her stuff because she wanted to downgrade her account. I transferred all over to my account to hold it in place so I had memories to go back and rebuild it. And then as soon as she was able to afford to go back up with her account, I switched it all back and put it all back in place. And it was all held in my account the whole time.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, the campaigns are great. Here's another, if you're an affiliate, if you're a Kartra affiliate, you can create campaigns. Like I've done this. I've got a lot of people to sign up for Kartra because I created different campaigns. And I said, if you create a Kartra account, use my link, I'll send you these campaigns and you can just import them. Like I did that with my webinar campaign. I've got that multi-tiered sequenced webinar campaign. And anybody that sees how I do that, they want the campaign. So I'm like, all you got to do is just, order Kartra and I'll put it right in your account for you.
That is a pretty cool campaign, by the way. Thanks, John.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know who did this absolutely masterfully was Brian Delaney. He is an affiliate marketer in San Diego, and he is big on Russell Brunson's what the hell is that? ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
He was a big ClickFunnels guy since the beginning. You know, I hated ClickFunnels since the first day I saw it, but he got into it. He loved it. He had programmers that were going in and actually programming it to do what he wanted to do. He didn't tell anybody about that. You know, you bought it and tried to do what he was doing, you'd pull your hair out because you couldn't do it. But he would create these campaigns, and then he would say, you know, you just buy ClickFunnels and I'll import this, you know, my top 3 converting campaigns. I'll just give them to you. And he was making, it was some obscene amount of money monthly on his affiliate commissions from ClickFunnels. You know, it was like $250,000 a month. It was crazy. And he advertised and promoted the shit out of his campaigns. They did several different affiliate rewards programs, and I think he won several of them. He won a car from them and all kinds of stuff. And he was on their seven figure club or whatever the hell it is. Several times he's been up on stage getting the 7-figure award. So
it's a 2 comma club.
Yeah, there you go. The 2 comma club. And he's won that several years. And most of it was due to him just promoting their product. And all he did was he hired some programmers that went in, they created, you know, some highly converting sales campaigns. And he packaged them up and gave them away to anybody that would buy ClickFunnels. And he did that, like, he went really big on that. Made a ton of money. He didn't have to develop anything. He didn't have to build a software. He didn't have to create a product. He just hired some programmers to make him some campaigns, and he sold the shit out of them. And he just collected a whole bunch of money. He had no support. All the support was over on ClickFunnels. You know, you're buying the product from ClickFunnels. He was just an affiliate. He made so much money on that particular campaign. It was absolutely ridiculous. And you could do the same thing in Kartra. You could do the same thing in whatever program you know how to use. If it's Go High Level, if it's Keep, it doesn't really matter. You know, I'm not saying you guys, you know, should go out and use Kartra just because I use it. If there's something easier for you and you like it, by all means, do that. Just don't expect me to help you with it. I'm not going out and learning every program on the planet. I learned Kartra. I like Kartra. If you want my support, my help with Kartra, you've got it. I'm really good at it. I got really, really good at that base program. You know, there's a lot of them that I tried and was very frustrated with and just threw in the towel on. ClickFunnels was one of them. You know,
I like how now Craig tells everybody, you know what I mean? Well, he's so shooting everybody on Go High Level. And he goes, well, if you like Kartra, talk to Tim or John, because they refuse to leave it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's great. It works perfect.
I full disclosure, I have not tried Go High Level, so I don't know much about it. But what I have seen, I didn't like. Like when
I was the same way with ClickFunnels. I didn't like ClickFunnels, and then when you told me about Kartra, it's like at first, but you know what I mean. You're the one with your training that got me hooked on it. I'm like, oh my god, this thing will run circles around what I was using.
Yeah. What I saw that was really bad was when Craig was showing how he moved his membership site into Go High Level, and it just looked like an absolute piece of shit. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is the most amateurish, junky thing I've ever seen. It's like, why would you run your business on some output that looked like that?
You want to know the words to get Craig on that? You know, Craig, I was looking at your membership site and it doesn't look like a rock star. It looks like a garage band. Watch, he'll change it real quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I,
That's a trigger for Craig, I found out.
That's too funny. But
Uh,
and I know he's sending out all these emails coming out through Go High Level, and none of the links work. You got to copy it and paste it in, and all this stuff, and it's just like,
Truthfully, though, his son Ryan knows Go High Level far better than he does. Ryan really knows Go High Level.
yeah.
And Ryan's not living in the house right now. It's probably why everything's not working the same. But Ryan really knows. Ryan will run circles around you and me with Kartra with Go High Level. He really knows it. Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you the big appeal. Like when I saw this, I was going, shit, I should move. I didn't know anything about Go High Level, but when I saw their comp plan, I'm like, man, you could make a shitload of money with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you that's what's driving all these affiliate marketers to it.
Yeah.
It's not because it's a better program, it's because they get paid more.
Yes.
The idea that they can pay $4.97 a month and sell an unlimited number of copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
They can make an absolute fortune.
That's what Frank Kern's doing. Frank Kern built that's what his whole new thing he's doing. That's what it is.
Yeah. But the whole thing about it though is, and I said this earlier in the call, there's people out there that are good marketers that are selling absolute trash that's not as good as whatever you're selling, but they're out marketing you. They're better marketers and they're outselling you like you're not even there. The idea is if you've got something good, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world to figure out how you convey that to them so they buy yours and not the garbage.
That was the whole thing with your Ben Franklin. You like using Ben Franklin's sales stuff. It worked because his Ben Franklin stove was one of the most popular ones and it was the worst one on the market.
Yeah. Yeah. He admitted that. If you Google Ben Franklin marketing or marketers Hall of Fame, you can read the story about it. He had the worst product on the market, yet he outsold the competitors like they weren't even there. Because he knew how to sell. He knew how to convey the messaging. And the others didn't. They had better product, but he could outsell them like they weren't even part of the program. So he had no worries whatsoever about competitors. So, but anyway, that's why I think there's so many people, like even Perry. When I saw Perry push and Go High Level, it just made me want to throw up. I'm like, come on, Perry, you're better than that. Oh man, it's just crazy. But the other thing, Perry and Ryan kind of split. Ryan Dice and Perry, they've split ways. There's some stuff. There's some story under that hood. We won't get into any of that, but Ryan is now promoting Kartra, which I was very, very happy to see that. And I know they didn't go through with it, but they had planned a Kartra convention. You know how ClickFunnels does their annual convention and it's a big hoopla. Well, Kartra was going to do their first one here last month and it got canceled. I'm not sure really why it got canceled, but it was the first one and I was going to go, and one of the promoters of it was Ryan Dice. And I'm like, holy shit, he jumped on board with them. Now that's saying something. So I think they've got some really big plans. I wouldn't be surprised, but what he's not trying to buy his way into it or something.
Well, originally Frank Kern was part of it, wasn't it? When it started.
Yeah. Well, it was because Andy Jenkins was the programmer behind it. He was the mastermind developer behind Kartra. And
God rest his soul. Andy was brilliant.
And Andy and Frank, they were like twins, they were really tight. And then Frank got in with Roland and Perry and Ryan, and, you know, got into the whole war room thing. So they were all a very, very tight knit group. And then War Room got canceled. There is no more War Room. And I think Perry pretty much ran the War Room. So when they split, Perry went off on his own, which was the first. You know, he's always been kind of behind the scenes. And he split off on his own, which I was really happy to see, because he deserves to shine. Perry is really a brilliant guy. He's got a lot to offer. So I was really happy to see him come out and shine on his own. And then he started up his version of the new War Room. So War Room is still around. It's just under a different wrapper, and he's still running it. But Ryan just kind of, faded off into the distance, and now he's starting to come back, and he's coming back under the Kartra umbrella. So I was excited to see him show up in that camp. But back to our thing. Doesn't matter what you're using. I don't want you guys to miss out on the huge opportunity of Black Friday this year. If you don't have a product up and running, you can still take advantage of Black Friday by giving something away to build your mailing list. That mailing list going into next year is going to be everything. The more people on your list, the more sales you're going to make in the coming year. That is just a no-brainer. That is just something that you can guarantee. If you have no people on your mailing list and you don't have anybody to sell to, I can pretty much see the future in your sales for 2024, right? You cannot multiply any number by 0 and come out with anything more than 0, right? So that's an easy prediction on my part to make that. But the bigger your list is, the more opportunity you're going to have to reach out to that list and sell something. I don't care if it's your own product. You could sell something of someone else's. I make a tremendous amount of money selling other people's products. I sell whatever someone needs when they need it. That's where I provide value. I don't come out with stuff and try and jam it down everybody's throat to make a buck. I provide value by showing up with whatever someone might need when they need it. And I'm not egotistical about it. It doesn't have to be my product. It just has to be the best thing and the right thing for them at the right time. If you get that through your head, you'll start focusing wider. You'll start looking at who has stuff that I could sell. Because the richest people, the people that make the most money, are the ones that know how to sell stuff. If you look at most companies, the people that are the highest paid people are the salespeople, right? Sales rule the world. So you should be looking at everything at your disposal that you could sell. You don't have to build it. You just have to get in the middle and make the money on the sale.
So John, do you do one product, or do you do several different Black Friday sales? I mean, are you saying have one product and promote that as a Black Friday? Or are you saying if you've got 5 things you can sell, do 5 different types of Black Friday sales?
If you have 5 things to sell, you should have 5 Black Friday sales. Now, what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't blow all 5 of them out to your whole list. It's all about segmentation. Remember what I just said? It's bringing the right thing to the right person at the right time, not trying to jam everything you got down everyone's throat. So like, for instance, I have a bunch of people that are on my SEO software list. Guess what I know about those people? I know they want SEO things. I know they're interested in SEO. I'm not going to push something else on them. I'm going to do an SEO Black Friday special with my SEO software. I have a list now of all kinds of people that have opted in for my 50 conversion maximizers for their websites. Guess what I'm going to offer them? I'm going to offer them to redesign their websites. Right? And I might have so many of them, I might say, hey, Tim, you want to build some websites for me? You know, I have a shitload of people that have downloaded my free AI book. You know, guess what they're going to get? They're going to get something based on AI. You know, there's a lot of
John,
people.
you are in my affiliate program, right? So I
Yeah.
can start paying you to sell my stuff for me. Just saying, just a hint for the rest of you guys, do that. Get John in your affiliate program. He's a super affiliate, guys.
Yeah, I somewhat know how to sell stuff. So that's what you want to do. You want to, when you build your database, make sure you're not just throwing everybody into the same bucket. That's one of the things I really, really love about Kartra is I can have 10,000 people in my database, and I can have each one of them can have an unlimited amount of tags on them. So I know what they're interested in based on what they do inside my funnel. Once they enter my universe, now there's one person in the database, but as they go through my through my universe, it's like they're raising their hand every time they look at something. Like if somebody's in there and they come in for SEO software, and we're in a training session, and I mention my weekly call, and I say, if anybody's interested in that, go ahead and opt in over here, and I'll send you some information on it. Well, they're in my universe. Now they just went through another channel. They raised their hand and they said, I need help marketing. So what do you think I'm going to sell them? I'm going to sell them on the ACT program. Then when they're in ACT program, if they get to the traffic portion and I say, hey, you know, there's an easier way than SEO. You know, we have an AI lead program that can actually just tell you who's looking for you instead of you going through the years and lots of effort to do SEO on your site to hopefully maybe get somebody to go to your site. I can just tell you who wants your stuff. And if you want more information on that, you guys saw how I did that, right? I put out a beta program. Anybody that wants to join the beta program, guess what? I just built a mailing list for everyone that is interested in AI leads. What do you think I'm going to sell them when it releases? I'm going to sell them access to the program, right? You're putting out offers, and not everyone's going to take you up on every offer, but every time they do and they're in your universe, they raise their hand in Kartra, they get a tag. So later on, let's say I put out an offer for the AI lead program, and you know, a certain percentage take it. Great. I'll make the money on that. But then I run into, let's say I run into Randy, and Randy says, hey, I just built this really cool AI tool. It does yada, yada, yada. And I say, wow, I've got a list of people that have expressed an interest in AI. How much will you pay me for sales that I can send to your door? I got a whole bucket full. I'll pour it right on top of you right now. What do you give me? And you cut a deal. And then
What does that deal look like, John, generally?
that deal looks like, Randy, I know you got this thing, you're selling it for $100 a month. I've got a group of people I want to give a special offer to. If you give it to them for 20% off, what's left over for me? Can you give me 30% on it? So
35.
So Randy's basically getting 50%. He's getting $50 instead of 100. My people are getting a deal. They're getting $20 off, and I'm getting the remaining 30. So,
And that's a win-win-win.
yeah, it's a win all the way across the board. I didn't have to build the program. Randy built the program. He doesn't have to sell the program. I've got a bucket of people. I can sell it for him. So he's doing less work. I'm doing less work, but we're both making more money.
Now, John, you're talking to people that's on this call and here. How do we find somebody out there who has a list that they'd be willing to sell to? That's why I think we should be using our $2 leads list. But you know, if
That's
you've got,
the easiest question I'm going to answer all day, Richard. You've got
What's
these two holes in your head. They're called eyes. You open them.
Good, spank them.
No, the truth is I hear in this all the time. How do I find somebody who's got the list? Start building your own. When you start learning to build your own list, you'll be able to tap into the list of others. Right? And so many of us want to tap into John's list. It's 30,000 people. Well, I'm starting to build. Let me try to build a list of 1,000, because now I understand what John went through to build that list. And if John lets me tap into it, oh my God, am I going to appreciate that list even more because I learned what John went through to build that list.
And you make a good point, Tim, because everybody wants it real easy, but even when you're talking about Kartra, if you like what Kartra has to offer, and you spend the seat time learning it, you may not learn it all in a year, but you can learn an awful lot to get going. And you can slowly do the same thing by learning to build your list. And then you appreciate more what Kartra has and what John's done, like you said, and what somebody else has done to build their list.
Yeah, and if I can here, I'd love to throw out a fishing analogy for you guys. You want to
Reel it in, John. Reel it
in.
Yeah, maybe throw that line in the water.
You want to fish where the fish are, right? If any of you have ever fished in the ocean, it's like a massive desert. It's like this just enormous, vast environment that's full of nothing. And there's a couple of places where the fish congregate. Well, guess where I'm going to go if I want to catch fish? I'm going to go where the fish are if I want to catch the fish. If I just want to go for a boat ride, then yeah, I can say that's fishing, but that's not fishing. That's a boat ride. I hate fucking boat rides. If I'm going, I don't want to come home and say, yeah, I didn't catch anything but a sunburn. That doesn't appeal to my sense of significance very well. Right? I want to come home with a boatload of fish. You guys want to come home with a boatload of cash, right? That's the equivalent. So if you go where there are no customers, if you go where your ideal customer is not, maybe there's a bunch of other people there, but they're not your ideal customers, you're not going to catch any of your ideal customers and be able to bring them home. Right? You're going to come home empty-handed, and that's not going to make you feel very good. It's not going to get you a very good result. So I give you a perfect example of me fishing where the fish were. I left my nice cushy home in Huntington Beach to go to Orlando, Florida, which I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in Orlando, Florida. In fact, the whole week I was there, I never saw daylight. I was inside the whole time. No interest whatsoever in going outside except to go to Perry's AI event. I went there with one purpose and one purpose only. It was not to learn about AI. It was to be where the fish were that I'm fishing for. He had a room of 400 people, and I knew out of that 400 people in that room, there was probably a quarter of them that were into traffic. And I know every one of those quarter of that room was going to drool over the idea of having AI send them leads. So I got positioned where I could get on Perry's stage for 5 minutes. That's all it took. 5 minutes. I didn't even spend the whole 5 minutes. I basically did a mic drop, walked off, and there was a following. I took that room, split it in quarters, and I took the quarter that I wanted out. Every one of them was texting me to get more information on how they could be a beta tester in that program. That's a very valuable list. It's not huge, but it's an incredibly valuable list. And out of that 400, I got probably 60 people that text me. I actually threw my phone number out on his stage. I said, if any of you want to be a beta tester of the system, I give a brief description of it. said, if there's anybody here that wants to be a beta tester, just text me. I'll put you in. You know, the beta program's already running and it's closed, but for you guys, I know you're serious and I'll put you in. Just text me and it's yours. So I get all these texts. I pass those over to my sales guy and I said, I need you to contact every one of these in the next 24 hours and set them up with an account. And out of those, there is about a dozen lead generation companies. How many leads do you think those lead generation companies are going to buy from me over the next 12 months?
All of them.
Yeah, all I can give them because they know how to sell leads. I know how to supply leads. I don't have to know how to go out and sell them into the market. I just found the right guy for that. So again, I can just provide the thing, walk away, go play on my boat while he's selling the living hell out of these leads for me. It's about finding the right connections, putting yourself in the right environments. You know, so Richard, to you know, to your point, you need to just open your eyes to where the fish are and show up there. You know, I know you don't like, you're probably like me, you don't like the idea of traveling and, you know, doing this stuff. But when I see an opportunity like that, you've got 1,000-pound marlin swarming around a buoy, I'm going to venture out to that buoy.
The only problem up to this point, John, has been finally COVID's, I think, died down enough because I have a half a dozen or more COVID, you know, vulnerabilities and stuff. So I literally bought a mask with one of those hoses on the back, like you see in the Dreyfus movies about contagion and stuff. I didn't go outside unless I was wearing that. So traveling is now kind of like moving its way back towards the list again. So yeah, I understand that part.
Even if you don't necessarily even have to travel, there are tons of people that put on telesummits, they put on, you know, virtual events. You can get positions in those virtual events. Even if you just show up, a perfect way to seed this is to show up on some group. Like Alignable is perfect for this because they're running groups all the time. They're running, you know, they're running these meetups, right? So you can go in there, find a massive group that's got like, you know, 100,000 people in the group, and look at when they do one of their meetings. Go in, enter the meeting, and ask a question in a very highly engineered way. Like let's say there was an AI group, 100,000 people, they put a meetup, there might be 200 or 300 people on the meetup meeting. So I would go in there and I'd say, hey, I have a question, you know, for you, moderator guy that runs this meeting. And I would just say, I just developed this really cool AI software that generates leads for like $2, which is unheard of. And I need to know who I can find that wants to beta test the system for me. And I guarantee you they'd be PMing the shit out of you. All those people on there, every one of them is now on your mailing list. They would be PM private messaging the shit out of you. So it's a covert way for you to get on their stage without their permission. Just by asking a question. You know, and you know, I was taught by my father, you don't ask questions you don't already know the answer to. Guess what? Who wants to beta test this? I already knew the answer. Every freaking person on that meetup. I didn't need to ask the question. The question was engineered to get a result. And it would get the result. It's exactly what I did at Perry's. Exactly. It is the exact formula. That 5 minutes was highly engineered, highly thought, and executed, you know, with perfect competency level. So there's so much opportunity out there. The people are all around you. You just need to figure out who they are and where they're hanging out. And you've got to get the message right. Like I had the message right. It's a lead magnet message. Who wants to beta test my system? That is the right messaging. I figured it out. You got to look at what you're doing. What is the hook? What can I throw out? What little bomb can I throw out in 10 seconds and drop the mic and walk away and look behind, and there's a shitload of people following, trying to catch up. Hey, wait, hey, I have a question. Come here, come here. That's what you want to create. When you figure out that messaging, I guarantee you are going to be successful. You are going to grow your business. You're going to get people that are interested. They're going to follow you. They're going to want to be on your list. They're going to want to hear from you, and they're going to want to buy what you have. It's not that difficult. It's really not. It almost answers itself. The whole thing of greed, you know, somebody wants to beta test something. It's their greed to be the first through the door on something spectacular. You know, that's what drives the people I'm interested in. These are highly motivated people. People that are buying leads, they're in the traffic pool. They are already making money and they want to make more. It's like the guy with the printing press that only can buy 100 sheets of paper a day, and I show up with boxes of 1,000 sheets of paper. He's going to be my best friend. And it's going to be really easy to sell him a box of paper because he's got a money printing machine. Right? Does that make sense? And, you know, I feel like I'm coming off a little harsh here, but I want you guys to really understand what kind of opportunities are all over, all around you.
Like a client, one of my clients said to me recently, I need you to be all over me, Randy.
Is this a female client, Randy?
That sounds good.
Well, I wasn't going to go there. But now that you asked, no.
Oh, damn it. Well, that just leaves room for improvement, right?
You always got to have somewhere to go.
That's right. And you know, if you guys need help with this stuff, come out, you know, like tell me where your problem is. Tell me where your bottleneck is. And I will do my damnedest to open it up for you. Tim, do you have a bottleneck?
Yeah, I had a headache this weekend with a calendar.
Kartra?
No, I didn't use. I was always using Calendly, and just the way I got treated with their customer service, I'm like, I've got to find another solution. I can't stay here because I lost my calendar and had to fight to get it back.
Yeah,
and I have yet to figure out how to get Kartra's calendar to interact with my Apple Calendar and feed back and forth.
Apple, I don't know. I don't know offhand if there's an Apple integration. I know they're integrated with Google Calendar now. So what I did just recently, if any of you have signed up on appointments with me, you'll notice my calendar just changed. I went back to Kartra. I was with Time Trade for a long, long time. And when Kartra screwed up, this was several years ago, their calendar was really jacked up. So I hopped back over to Time Trade, and I've been on them just out of pure laziness because I would have had to do something to switch. And then about 3 weeks ago, I got an email that says, your Time Trade is expiring at the end of the week and you're going to get charged, you know, X amount. It wasn't much. It's only like $80 a year. I'm like, shit, I can save $80 in 5 minutes of work and it's done forever. So I did. I jumped into Kartra. I updated it, refreshed it, connected it, and then canceled Time Trade. So I am just using the Kartra calendar now and perfectly happy with it. It integrates with Gmail, or not Gmail.
With Google, but yeah, you use Google Calendar. You don't use Outlook, right?
Correct. I use the Google Calendar. And I don't know offhand. It might integrate with Outlook? I don't know. It also integrates with Zoom.
Yeah, I know it integrated with Zoom, but I was having I mean, everything I have is on the Apple calendar because I'm an Apple guy. I got the iPhone, the iPad. So when I'm not here, I want to know what is on my calendar on my phone when I'm at a networking event. And I've had it in the past where I've tried to book it and something didn't connect with even with Calendly, and I've gotten double booked. And I don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm trying not to avoid to do. But
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, do you have a Gmail account, Tim?
I have a Gmail account. Yeah, I don't
Because
use it because I have to get the Gmail to coordinate with Apple Calendar.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's what I want to tell you or suggest to you, Tim, is that you can I have Apple too, also rather, and I know several times in the past when I was setting up calendars, it asked me if it was asking me if I wanted to integrate with Google. I guess what I'm trying to say is that here, look, if I can share my screen real quick, I'll show you. I think it's a real easy step. Let me share.
But I think it's Apple he needs it to integrate with.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Gmail.
he's an Apple guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
here's something to think of too. If you can integrate the Apple with the Google, and then you use the calendar in Kartra that integrates with Google, it'll automatically update your Apple.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah, that's all. So as you can see on the screen here, here's the Apple, right? And then here's all the different calendars. And all I
Right.
need to do is like make a new calendar and just select Google, and boom, it'll show up as quickly as anything else.
And that's what I was going to say, because I use the iPhone, but everything else is non-Apple.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's it. So for Apple not to be able to bring in a Google Calendar, that's just ridiculous.
But but with that set up that way, Chris, all right, and John, you may know because you may do the same thing with yours, but you only do Google. Is someone books an appointment from my link on Kartra, it's going to show up on my Google calendar, which will show up on my Apple calendar. But when they're booking it on Kartra, will it show them, hey, that space is not available because he's already booked in that spot?
It does, yes,
It
absolutely.
does. Yep.
And so that's the cool thing. Like if I don't have to ever go into Kartra to adjust my calendar. All I have to do is like if I know I'm going fishing on Friday, I just go
Do it in Google
Calendar and say Friday's booked.
Yep, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I do.
Hey,
Just
Tim, I think
removes
I think I found it, buddy. You want to see what the solution is?
You can show me, yeah, or if you want to do a private call with me sometime too, I'm fine with that. So
Here I can show you. It's so fast. I can show you right now.
okay.
Poopy pants. I got too many windows open.
Be
it's
careful
just-
which one you share now.
Yeah, I got it. And then there's that. Thanks. Okay. So if I share,
I know you're like me. I've got 17 things open right now on 3 screens. Yeah, I know.
yeah, 3 screen. That's my middle name. All right. So here's what I think
You guys are amateurs.
Yeah. So are you seeing the
Yeah.
the thing?
Yep.
See, here's a Gmail account, right? The abundantlifegame@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, wow.
See, so I just went into, so the point is I went to Apple Mail.
Yeah.
I went into mail accounts. Here's all my different mail accounts. And I just have to, schwank that. And I'll bet you now that it'll totally, whatever the email address is, right, associated with my Google page, my Google account, my Google Mail. I
Right.
just do it here and it's going to sync it.
Awesome.
So I think it's just that easy, but you got to go into mail and say, hey, on these Gmail accounts, I want you to sync it.
Yeah.
And it'll look at that, it'll do contacts and everything, so I would explore in that arena.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've got to find a solution. So I totally was so pissed off at Calendly on Friday.
Ooh, hey, here
I was ready to take names and take lives. I'll tell you, it was just horrible.
Yeah, here it is, Tim. That actually does it, because check this out. And one last thing, and then I'll get off of this, is that here's now my Apple Calendar.
Yeah.
And guess what? Guess what just appeared? abundantlifegame@gmail.com. That's a new calendar that got added to my iCal.
Okay.
See, all I had to do was just go into mail, click it, and now whatever is going into that Gmail account is going to show up right here.
Very cool. So, hey, I have a question for you guys, a little off topic.
You must know the answer.
Is
Because
anybody
your dad said,
yeah. Is anybody interested in learning about using AI to create graphics and videos and stuff like that? Because I've got a guy that I would be happy to bring him on here, like on a Thursday call, if you guys are interested in that. He's really, really good at that stuff.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, because he's using a lot of different programs, like he can tell you he's an artist. He is an artist from way back that has figured out how to integrate technology into art, and he's really, really good at it. So I see I got a lot of positive feedback on that one. So I will bring him on. It's Ori. His name's Ori, and I've known him for probably over 20 years. And he's really, really talented at this stuff. And, you know, he'll talk about probably DALL-E and how to use the prompts on Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, and, you know, just the best ones for whatever you're trying to do. So, but I've seen some of the stuff he's been creating, and it blows my mind. It's like you would spend thousands of dollars to have artists do this kind of work for you, and he's just knocking it out with his prompts. And
How do you spell his name, John?
it's Ori,
Oh, thank you.
and his last name is Bengal, Bengal. I don't know if there's two L's to it. I think there's just one, but Ori Bengal.
Thank you.
He's been in the internet marketing space forever, and he was one of the guys that was like a Perry and Ryan follower, and they love him, he loves them, and he's just really, really cool cat. I gotta tell you though, he is pretty out there. He's probably done more substance abuse than anyone could imagine. but he's really talented, very creative, and I think you guys will like him. So I'll call him and schedule that. I asked him if he'd be interested, and he said absolutely. So pretty cool. So I'll do that. I've been trying to plan you know, the event that I was talking about last week, doing an AI event where we go through the 30,000 word prompt and show you how to use that AI prompt to actually build your entire campaign, your entire act campaign out of basically one single prompt. And I have not come up with an acceptable date yet. My October is pretty well shot, and November is filling up already. So I'm going to try and do something before the end of the year for anybody that's interested in that. But what I'm planning is, you know, private event, probably for 4 people. We'll go over to Catalina, sit in Avalon for a few days, and just work our way through it, and have a great time doing it. So if you're interested in that, let me know dates that you would be interested in doing that, because like I said before, if I pick the dates, I suck at picking dates. So I'm much better with somebody else picks the date and we go with it, and then it'll fill up. So, and it's not going to be hard to fill up because I'm only going to do it with 4 people. So let me know if you're interested in dates that you would be interested in on that. And probably be at least 2, maybe 3 days. So
But now,
Would you consider doing it? Oh,
Sorry, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Just
What
quick,
is
go
it?
ahead.
This October or November? I forgot. I didn't hear that clearly.
it will probably be November, December.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think I can realistically pull it off in October, but November, December, I could probably make that work. I know November you got the whole Thanksgiving thing and the Black Friday thing, and I don't want to get in anyone's way of Black Friday because I want you guys to kick ass on that one. But yeah, we'll work something into November, December. So
Would you be possibly willing to do that online as well?
like a live stream type thing?
Like a live stream from Catalina?
It's possible. It won't be
It
near
would
as
be-
much fun for you, but
This is true. This is true, but the 30-hour trip to get there can be daunting.
yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I may definitely consider doing that for sure. Because I know, like
Very cool.
Richard, he's not going to want to fly out here for it, but he might really be into that. So
And
yeah,
November, December is not exactly a sunny time in Catalina time, John.
Oh, this is California. It's El
John,
Nino
I was born
season.
and raised in California, lived in Newport Beach until I was in my 30s, and we owned boats and have been going to Catalina since, well, 50 years ago, kind of a thing.
Maybe as a point
Catalina
here, John,
ain't sunny in December, November. November, December. Catalina ain't warm and sunny.
well, maybe John maybe he's got a point. And you should host it, in Minneapolis, Minnesota in December. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? There's an option. If you're not into Catalina in the wintertime, you could always go to Minnesota in the wintertime.
And haven't you heard of global warming? It's 90 degrees out here today. That's why I'm in San Diego.
I have a different idea. If you guys would go for that, we could do it in East Cape. Then I could get a little big game fishing in.
Do it where?
East Cape. It's right around the corner from Cabo on the Gulf side. So it's nice and protected. It's just a big, beautiful bay that's loaded with fish.
Hey, I'm in favor of Galveston, Texas, if you want to drive the boat down there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Athens is nice too, guys.
Athens, yeah.
Athens is nice, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wait a minute, Athens? John, aren't you going to get the new boat and put it on the east side of the world? Athens is the east side of the world.
It is, yeah. That's a consideration.
Hey, John, do you want to partner on your next boat?
I'm your Huckleberry.
50-50 partner on an East Coast boat? I'm just saying,
I've already got one planned.
Because I was thinking if we partnered onto it, you don't have, I don't have, and then the 90% of the time we weren't using it, we'd sell it to these guys to rent it from us. I'm just saying.
Well, the one that I'm planning is probably a little bigger than what you've got in mind.
120 foot or bigger than that?
130.
130, yeah.
Yeah.
You need a team to run it, but hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I will have a team for that one. I'll actually put it in a charter company.
Yeah.
And that's my plan, to have it chartered out for 10 months of the year, 1 month for maintenance and 1 month for me.
I just want to invite to the boat. I've been fishing before. Oh.
There you go. Well, we will have that coming up shortly.
I'd invite you to my boat, but that 12-footer right now in Lake Louisville and Dallas is just not something appetizing to do a mastermind on right now.
Oh, Tim, you're in Dallas. I'm in Houston.
Craig's trying to get me to take mine up to Ventura for his mastermind thing in November. And I'm like, yeah, it's about $1,400 in fuel to get.
As I was wondering, I was thinking that was a pretty expensive fuel trip.
Yeah. I was like, what do you got in mind for me bringing it up there? Because it's gonna be about a $1,400 fuel bill. And he's like, oh shit, I had no idea.
It's like I keep telling him, like, I don't want to fly to California unless I'm flying on a private jet. So like my old trips of taking Southwest to go out there for $150 or no more.
Yeah.
It's like to do the JSX is like, it's like $900 one way. But
I guess these guys don't understand, John, that boat mileage, all of the mileage is done on the right-hand side of the decimal, not the left-hand side of the decimal.
Yeah. And on mine, it's not measured in miles per gallon, it's gallons per mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a car like that in the 1980s. I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called a Ford. Remember the Ford pickup truck from the 1970s? Those things would
Oh,
pass everything but the gas station.
I had the 1970 GTO, and that thing, if you kept your foot into it, it just dumped the fuel down the throat.
You could hear it flush.
I had the 73 Oldsmobile, the with the and I had a 400 engine with 2 carburetors on it.
Oh yeah,
You can hear the gas sucking down that carburetor.
Yeah, the 442.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to John's GTO. If he didn't have that GTO, him and his 2 buddies would have been the clinker that night. The fireworks,
So you had a 70 GTO, John?
Yeah, I had a 70 and a 69.
Yeah, I had a 68. So yeah, one of the many things I've owned. I had one GTO. That's the one I wish I would have kept.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, don't get me started. I had not one, but 2 Shelby GT350s at the same time in 1968. One was actually a custom built notchback. So yeah,
wow. Bet you wish you had that.
I sold it and got married on the same day, so that tells you a lot.
Oh.
Richard, I sold I get it. You know, we have all these cars we live in the past. If we'd only kept them, I sold. Remember the original Monte Carlo SS, not the 80s ones, the 1970, that there were only 1,700 of them made. I sold one of them for $500 because the engine went. Without an engine today, just sitting in a barn and hadn't moved since the day I sold it. That thing's worth like 40 grand right now. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh man.
At least I did one right. I was just hallucinating one day, and I said, a guy was selling a 65 Ford Ranchero for $500. It didn't, the transmission was out of it, the floors were rotten. I paid him the $500 and parked it in our back 40 for 4 years, and I just realized I'm not going to do anything with it, and I turned it around. Just sold it 2 weeks ago for $1,000. So yeah. And it's a wreck. It doesn't run. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. It hasn't run in years. So yeah, you start getting into cars. Now you're talking.
Those days are gone where we used to pick up stuff for $200 and $300. Now all that stuff's 20 grand. Yeah,
all day long.
Yeah, it's crazy the prices of them. Like that GTO, I don't even know what that thing would be worth now, but it's
got to be worth 20 to 30, maybe even 40 in good shape. It's got to be.
Yeah. It's pretty
New
crazy.
line.
It was funny the way I sold that car. I had all my fishing gear in the car. I had run that car for
New line.
That was my daily driver for like 10 years. So I just beat the shit out of it.
New line.
It was cooked. And I had all my fishing gear in it. I'm getting ready to go fishing, and
new line.
This guy basically pulls up and he says, "Hey, you want to sell that car?" And I'm like, not really. And he's like, "Well, no, really. I want to buy it." I'm like, "Well, how much?" And he's like, "Well, let me take a look at it." So he gets out and he's going around, and we open it all up, and as he's looking at everything, I'm looking at it too, going, "Oh shit, that's worn out. That needs to get replaced. That needs to get replaced." And I'm adding it up in my head. Shit, it's going to cost me like 10 grand to fix this thing if I want to keep it. And he pulls out a wad of money, and he offered me, I think he had $8,900 in his pocket. And I was pulling my fishing gear out of the car. And then I'm sitting there going, damn it, I don't have a car now. How am I going to get to the fishing spot? So I had to buy a cab. Luckily, I had some cash.
Yeah. And, we look at those things that we did like when we were younger and broke, and the car. I mean, I bought a car once on Friday night, sold it on Monday morning. And like, I literally had to drive down the street or walk down the street to buy something else because I needed something to drive, but I made a profit, but now I have nothing to drive. Yeah.
Oh, that when I think about that though, I'm like, damn it, I don't know why I sold that thing. It was it's just an absolutely awesome car. I loved it.
The
It was-
secret, Tim, is just having more than one car. In California, and I don't know looking back how I got away with it. Between the time I was 15 and 17, I bought and sold, I think the count was 23 cars. 4 of them I built from the ground up, kind of a thing. So I was really kind of into that crazy stuff. But you got to have
Oh,
more than
Richard, from 18 to 25, I owned over 500 cars. Bought
Oh,
and
well,
sold,
you
bought
really
and
were a
sold,
dealer
bought and
then.
sold,
Okay.
bought and sold. Yeah. Yeah.
my ultimate one though, it's not, oh, I don't have a big, I don't really have a good picture of it here. I'll show you a bad picture of it. That was my ultimate vehicle there.
Ooh, baby.
Jesus.
That was that the 3-wheel one, John?
Yeah. Had a big, wide, fat tire in the back.
And you're writing it off because what's on the side there, John? What are you writing it off for?
Yeah, that was my company name, badsy.com. So this thing, it had 2 stick shifts, 20 forward gears, and it would go over 200 miles an hour. And I have a photograph of Mario Andretti getting out of it at Indianapolis. He broke 200 on the track with this car. His average speed was 165. That's pretty crazy car. But the doors fly up like the gull wing, and
that is not a car you want to do 200 miles an hour in. That's just flat crazy.
Yeah, I took it to the top of the 15th gear, which was about 165, and it was enough to make my butt pucker. that was enough for me.
Okay, John, can we talk about the Leads program now?
Yeah, let's go back to Leads program. We're making ourselves sick with cars. I think Woody has his hand up too.
Yeah, Woody, let's hit Woody here first.
Hey, car enthusiasts. My favorite car was my 65 Ford Falcon.
That's awesome.
I got that for $100 too.
Anyway. those are super cars. I love those cars.
Yeah, they were a good car. Woody, those were a good car.
Yeah, we call it a Falcon.
Yeah.
Was such a piece of
That's
shit.
why I bought the Ranchero, because I wanted the Ranchero rather than the Falcon. But my buddy had a Falcon. It ran really great until he decided he wanted to hot rod it, and he put aviation fuel in it. It went real fast for about 20 minutes.
Anyway, I have my associate Michael Jenkins on the call, and we are getting ready now to build the membership pages for Forbidden Elvis and also Gateway to Joy. And I guess Mike can chime in, but basically, what is your platform that you recommend we build this beast on?
For a membership?
Yeah, and with the Elvis one,
yeah,
I really want it to be super sexy. It is not a business site, it is a joy experience.
Yeah,
I'd almost like it like Palisades Amusement Park advertising, or Coney Island. Well, I'm from New York, but something really sexy, because it is the king, and we got the shit from the king. So
yeah. Well, as far as that goes, I'm biased, as to use Kartra. But here's something I can tell you. If you're really looking for it to be like a high-end, really sexy looking site, Kartra's templates are not going to allow that. So if you really want something that looks like ultra high-end, super high level, very sexy membership site, I would probably say the most affordable way to pull that off would be to do it in WordPress with one of their membership templates, one of their membership plugins.
I use Optimize Press and Optimize Mentor or Optimize, one of those Optimize programs actually you can build it with the optimized templates.
Yeah.
And then I forget which plugin, you've got to put a plug in there for the membership side of it so they only can get the license stuff. But yeah.
That would be what I would say if you really need it to be sexy like that. Because Kartra won't make it that sexy. I mean, Kartra does a phenomenal job of the framework and it'll look very professional, but it's based on a template that doesn't have a lot of control to make it absolutely beautiful. You can do that with the content.
You really opened my eyes to AI today. And also Gregory said it, making it your consultant. And I'm wondering, about asking it for the sexiest marketing sites out there that pull the most of this kind of customer. Is that the right prompt? Big John.
It's a start. You need to tell it if it's going to be your consultant, you need to pre-frame it with who you need it to be.
I need it to be a raving Elvis fan.
Okay. So if you need it to be a raving Elvis fan.
Well, what do you guys think? I mean, that's just my guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And I would be very specific with Elvis Presley. Because it could take Elvis Castillo. It could take, all kinds of Elvises. Be very, very specific with who you want it to be. But, if it's a consultant and you're hiring an Elvis fan as being a consultant, if that's what you're after, then yeah, that would be the right framing for the prompt.
No, I don't want Elvis fan as a consultant. I want Elvis fans to join the membership site.
Okay. So you really want it to be a marketing consultant. You want it to be a top level ad agency type marketing consultant, and then tell it basically what you're doing. You're creating a membership site. You want to attract fans of Elvis Presley, raving fans, people that want to get anything that has to do with anything Elvis related, and just give it all the context. Just throw up on it. Just literally just tell it everything you know, and then ask it what you want to know. That's the way to use it.
What do you mean feed all the content in? Everything I know about Elvis?
Everything you know, not about Elvis, but about the product that you're offering. So it understands what you're doing. Like tell it, I have the hidden secret albums that no one's ever heard. I'm going to put them in a private membership site where they're going to have to sign up to get access to it. And then ask it, what's the best way to promote this? What would I be able to say to these people that would make them just not be able to sleep at night if they didn't get access to these hidden recordings? That's the kind of questioning you want to ask it. But frame it with who it is, tell it what you're doing, and then ask it what you want to know. Like, how do I market to these people? And I really like that. I like, what's the one thing that I could say to them to make them absolutely have to have this, and they wouldn't be able to sleep at night if they didn't get their hands on it? I really like that kind of an angle. That's a really powerful question for the AI.
Okay, got it.
So, all right. One more, and then I got to wrap it up.
John, we got to get back to the leads program because I got a couple of specific questions here for you about that.
Okay.
Were you able to find out anything about getting a FICO score?
Yes, we cannot pull a FICO score, but we can get a credit rating. So FICO score is not attainable through this type of thing, but we can get credit rating, we can get household income, we can get education level, we can get home ownership, length of time owned in the home. We can get a bunch of stuff like that. I got a list of the criteria that has to do with the finance stuff.
Are
But
those things that are those on a per field additional basis? Is it something that's just added, we can add in bulk? How does that work out, or do you know yet?
well, that would be basically, those would be additional premium fields. So I told the programmers, I said, not on the rollout, but at some point in the future, we're going to want to add a premium level to the leads where it pulls this additional data. Because I think that would work with roofers, solar, real estate, mortgage, anything that's a high level sale. That information would be very valuable. So we'll probably have those as a premium lead. It'll be a little bit more to cover the data feed, but it'll just be like a checkbox to get premium leads on any campaign.
Okay, well, that's going to be one that hopefully won't be too far down the line, because that's really going to be helpful. With regard to the pricing per lead, how is that put in there? Because what I'd like to do is have, we're going to pay our basic $1.99. I wanted to add a little piece onto mine so that that's our base price.
Correct.
And then sell above that. Is all that
that's all built in? Yeah, that's all built into the control panel. So when you get your agency control panel, you will be able to set your pricing the way you want your default pricing. And then you'll also be able to manually adjust on a campaign level. Like let's say you want to have a default price of, $5, but on the solar industry, you want to have those be $10. So you would be able to set the level of each independent campaign as you wish.
Well, that's good, because you're short 1-0 for solar.
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be some of these that'll be worth a lot of money. Some of these leads, like if you're selling leads to attorneys for mesothelioma, they're paying $100 to $150 per click. So I mean, those leads
at one point it was 300. It was the highest paid click online.
Yeah.
How does the billing show up though? Does the client just see an end number? Do we have to do the counting on the back end? How does all that work? Because the numbers start going different places now.
Sure. So what happens here is, in the billing, you set up a Stripe account under your company. That Stripe account is used to collect the money. And the cool thing, the reason that we're using Stripe, I never was a big fan of Stripe because I use AuthorizeNet. But when I found out from my programmers what I wanted to do, AuthorizeNet couldn't do and Stripe could. I'm like, okay, well, we can use Stripe for that because they can do split billing. So like, for instance, you create your Stripe account, it's under your company name. But when the client pays you, it automatically splits out the $1.99, comes back to me, and the rest of it goes into your account. So they see the billing coming from your Stripe account, your company name on your Stripe account. And then your profit basically just goes to your bank account. Your cost of the lead comes over to me, and it's all done automatically.
Okay, so and then the numbers that come over, we got to handle the divvying up of the stuff that lands on our side if we're taking a piece in addition to you plus the other stuff. So we're going to have to do all that accounting on our side before we cut our checks, right?
For who are you cutting checks to? Like affiliates or something?
Yeah, if we have salespeople, affiliates, or whatever, yeah. we're sending you to $1.99. I've built in a dollar pad there for me, and then everything above that, I've got to pay commissions on to salespeople or to affiliates or whatever.
Yeah, you would basically just go ahead and set that up under, whatever accounting you're running in your business.
Perfect. Okay. The other big thing was, I remember your story about you turned the thing on and came back the next morning and we're like, holy moly, what's going on here? Are we going to be able to say, I want to sell 100 leads and have it stop at 100, or do we need to?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first thing I told the programmers was this damn thing needs a limiter. So yeah, when you create a campaign, you will be able to set the number of leads per day that you want. You can have a stop date on it, like if you just want them to run for 30 days or whatever. You can also, limit the geography down to zip code. So you can go anywhere from single zip code, multiple zip codes, city, state, country. We only do them in the US though. It's only US based.
Okay, that's perfect. And are the leads in other words, when your program runs, it ends up delivering them to the Google Docs, which is that's actually pretty much your Google Doc, as far as I'm understanding it so far. The Google Doc is actually what your deliverable is, and to whatever extent you want to let them peek behind the curtain and see what the cloud platform looks like. But basically, they're getting a Google sheet. First off, do I have that correct?
That is correct in the base platform. I believe on our release, I think we're going to have an export version where that can be exported out to SendGrid.
Okay, and
so it could actually just go right into an auto response system that emails it directly instantly.
Well, that should be it, because the question was, when do those leads get onto that list? Do they batch them and give you a bunch of them at a time? Do they wait till you get all? If I want 50 leads, does it wait till the 50 leads?
No, they're coming in
their real time. How is it doing?
They're coming in as they're collected.
So in other words, I can have that thing be automatically throwing in leads, 2 or 3 leads every 3 or 5 minutes, kind of a thing.
Yeah. If you have it hooked up to an auto response, you'll have responses going out the second they come in. So
outstanding. Okay, that's those are pretty much the ones that are off the top of my list at this point.
Yeah, and I'm going to address your concern right here and now, because it does sound like it's too good to be true.
And how are you going to address that, John?
Just the fact that it is.
Yeah, I asked, by the way, I did ask for the contact information for your email guy. I don't know if you got the email, but I'd like the info on your email guy that you said we'll put together the programs too.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting on him just really to get the packages together. We're working on him getting that, and hopefully we'll be able to release him with the program itself, because he'll do the whole nurture campaign and the whole bit.
Perfect. Okay, I think I've got the big ones I want and need here to finish sculpting this thing. Thank you, John.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap her up here. I got another appointment I got to hop on to, but thank you guys all for coming on and spending the day with me.
Thank you, John. Blessings, everyone.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
All right.
Great.
We will talk to you all soon.
Have a great week, everyone. Love you.
Bye-bye.